People say peace and country life go together. Wide fields, quiet mornings, sunlit dust on a gravel road. But they forget about Karens. And not just any Karen. An HOA Karen who thought she owned my land. The day she marched onto my farm and claimed my road belonged to the community. I realized something. You can fence cattle, but you can't fence crazy. And when someone tries forcing themselves into your life, you build a gate, not to keep trouble out, but to remind it where the line is drawn. My name's Daniel. I own a 30-acre farm passed down from my grandfather. We built everything ourselves. The barn, the garden, the gravel road that winds down from the main highway to my front porch. I've lived here 8 years, never bothered anyone. Then she arrived, Karen, fresh from the suburbs, dragging her homeowners association attitude with her like a burning torch. She didn't buy property near me. She bought the 5-acre parcel at the very end of my private road. A landlocked piece only accessible, because my grandfather once allowed the old owners to use our driveway politely and informally. No contract, no easement, just neighborly kindness. Karen didn't believe in kindness. 3 days after moving in, she knocked loudly enough to shake dust off my siding. "Hi," she chirped. "I'm the new homeowner and this road is now community access. Our HOA rules say you can't block or control it." I blinked. "Ma'am, this isn't part of any HOA. This is my private farm road." She smirked like she practiced in a mirror. "Everything here falls under our association. That includes your driveway. And I'll need copies of your building permits. Your barn looks unapproved." I stared, stunned. HOA. Karen had come to the countryside and decided to declare sovereignty over my land. When I told her no, politely, she snapped, "If you don't comply, there will be consequences. The community has rights." Not here, they didn't. That night, while the cicadas buzzed and the stars settled over my property, I sat on the porch thinking of my grandfather's voice. Land is responsibility, and you protect what you build. The next morning I made a decision. Not out of anger, but principle. If Karen believed my road was community property, then I would give her something to scream about. I ordered steel posts, heavy-duty hinges, and a 12-foot farm gate. This wasn't just a boundary. This was a declaration. When the delivery truck rumbled down my driveway carrying steel posts and that heavy-duty gate, I swear even the cows looked excited. I wasn't building a fence out of anger. I was building a reminder that respect still mattered in the countryside. I spent the whole morning installing it. The sun beat down, sweat rolled off my back, and gravel crunched under my boots as I cemented the posts deep into the earth. By noon the gate was up, solid, dark, imposing. A lock hung heavy in the center like a final word in an argument. It was peaceful, for about 6 minutes. A silver SUV screeched onto my property, kicking dust into the air like a storm. Out sprang Karen, clutching a clipboard like she was auditioning to play sheriff of the neighborhood. "What do you think you're doing?" she shrieked. I wiped sweat off my forehead, installing a gate on my driveway. "This road is community property," she snapped. "You can't just shut people out!" "Karen," I said slowly, "there is no community here except cattle, coyotes, and sarcasm. And none of them asked you to be in charge." She stomped closer, heels sinking into my dirt like justice was melting beneath her. "I am the elected HOA president. I have authority." "Not on land you don't own," I replied. "This road is private. Always has been." She yanked out a stack of HOA documents like they were holy scripture. "Right here! Section 8, Shared Infrastructure." I glanced at the papers. "That's for your HOA subdivision." "I am not part of your HOA." Her face twitched. "Everyone in the zone is required to join." "No," I said calmly. "They tried that scam 15 years ago. It got thrown out by the county." She sputtered like a kettle. Well, the board will not tolerate this." "Board?" I asked. "There's just you and your husband, right?" Her silence answered for her. "You can't block me from my home," she yelled finally. "You bought landlocked property," I replied. "Your access depends on agreements, which you don't have." Her eyes widened like I'd spoken forbidden magic. "You're going to regret this." "No," I said, locking the gate with a click that sang like freedom. "I'm just getting started." She stormed back to her car, tires spinning, fury trailing behind her like wildfire smoke. An hour later, I received an email. Subject line: "Cease and desist, you will be reported." Karen wanted a war. She had no idea I came prepared for one. A boundary wasn't just set, it was defended. I knew Karen wouldn't stop at angry emails. Karens don't quit, they escalate. And 3 days later, escalation arrived in the form of a White County truck rolling down my drive, dust trailing like a warning flag. 2 officials stepped out, clipboards in hand. One wore sunglasses tight enough to hide any hint of emotion. The other offered an awkward smile, the kind you see on someone who knows they're walking into nonsense. "Morning," Sunglasses said. We got a complaint about an unlawful barrier blocking shared access. I nodded. Let me guess. Blonde lady? Clipboard? Thinks she runs the world? They exchanged a look. Bingo. The smiling one spoke up. She claims this is a public road connected to her homeowners association. I chuckled. This is a private farm road on deeded land. No easement, no public access, no HOA. Just a wild imagination in free time. Sunglasses flipped through papers. Do you have proof of private ownership? I opened a weathered file folder. I'd prepared the day the gate went in. My grandfather's original deed from 1968, the survey map, and a county statement confirming no easement ever existed. He studied them carefully. The wind rustled corn in the fields behind us. My dog lay under the porch, tail thumping lazily. Meanwhile, Karen's voice echoed faintly from her property, yelling at someone about rights. Sunglasses lowered the documents and breathed out. Mr. Daniels, everything here checks out. The road is legally yours. Before I could answer, a shrill voice pierced the air like an incoming tornado. Karen came stomping down the road, literally marching, waving her HOA rulebook like it was a sword of justice. You can't side with him, she screeched. That road is community property. He can't imprison me out of my neighborhood. One official whispered, Neighborhood? There's 2 houses. She jabbed a finger at the gate. Remove it now or fine him. Issue a citation. This man is violating HOA section. Sunglasses cut her off. Ma'am, this property is not under your HOA, and this is a private road. He has full right to gate and restrict access. Her face froze, then cracked. You don't understand. I have authority. You have jurisdiction over your subdivision, he replied calmly. Not his ranch. She gasped like someone had unplugged her power supply. For once, Karen had no words. Karen didn't go quiet. Karens never go quiet. But she went dangerously still. The kind of still a wasp gets right before it stings. She stared at those county officials like they'd personally vandalized her minivan and dethroned her from some imaginary kingdom. Then, without a word, she turned, marched to her SUV, and slammed the door so hard it startled the birds out of my oak tree. The officials lingered just long enough to offer a sympathetic shrug. If she gives you more trouble, Sunglasses said, call us. You're in the clear. Then they drove off, leaving me alone with the squeal of Karen's tires fading into the distance. Peace returned, for about a day. The next morning, I found a printed letter in my mailbox. Bold, all caps, too much punctuation, the handwriting equivalent of yelling. You're in direct violation of community law and will face legal consequences if the gate is not removed immediately. I laughed, out loud, on my porch, with my coffee. It felt righteous, so I played her game, but by the book. I wrote my own letter, printed it on thick paper, even added a little legal column-style border for dramatic effect. It read, This property is private land. Any attempt to trespass or enforce HOA, rules here will be treated as harassment and reported. I hand-delivered it, knocked politely. Her husband, poor exhausted man, opened the door. He looked like someone who had aged 5 years in a week. Is she home? I asked. He just sighed. She's researching. Translation, spiraling. I handed him the envelope. Tell her the law already answered. And the gate stays, he nodded gratefully, like I'd just given him permission to breathe again. Turns out, the gate didn't just stop Karen from trespassing. It stopped her campaign, because soon after, neighbors whispered, land agents called, and word spread she bought landlocked property without securing legal access. Meaning, her only path in or out depended on me. Her ego wrote checks the law refused to cash. And suddenly, Karen wasn't the queen of anything. She was the president of a subdivision that couldn't bully the countryside. A month later, a moving truck rolled up. Karen left, clipboard and all, and evaporating, like a bad storm that couldn't survive sunshine. The gate still stands, strong, locked, quiet, not to keep people out, but to remind the world that some lines are worth defending. If you enjoyed watching this battle and love seeing justice served against crazy, show a Karen drama, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below telling me what you would have done in this situation. Your support keeps these real-life HOA stories coming. And trust me, the next one is even crazier. See you in the next story.